Hey, what's going on, everyone? All right, you caught me. I'm late. I apologize. Had some car trouble, but no excuses here. I'm here though. We have Iris today. Very special guest here, and when she gets on, I'll make sure I do a proper introduction and let you know why. Let's see if I can get her in here. There we go. That's on my face.
Hi.
Hey,
Hello.
how's it going? Sorry.
I said, how are you? Sorry.
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I had some car trouble and it moved me back. I'm very punctual, so I'm very sorry. I didn't start right at 5, but I'm happy to have you nonetheless.
That's okay. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, before I get started, I just want to give kind of my audience and your audience a little preamble why I thought it was so important to have you on today, if that's okay.
Of course.
Awesome. So, Iris and I actually went to university together. We both went to Laurier. Shout out Golden Hawks.
Yeah.
Um, and as much as I'm a proponent of real estate, I'm more a proponent of business. And Iris has done a phenomenal job of building a business, fitness related. I'm doing a lot with social media, a lot with good marketing, branding, and good content. So I was like, you know what? This is perfect. This is exactly what people need to look at, regardless if it's real estate. So, yeah, happy to have you on today and share a little bit.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the introduction. That's really nice.
No, no problem there. So I got a couple questions, so I'll get right into it. So you've been doing a great job building a brand, especially in the fitness industry where I feel it's so muddy with a lot of garbage and a lot of nonsense there. What is the most important part about building a brand for you?
Staying true to myself. I feel like, especially when you're starting up, it's very hard. You see all of these people on social media, they're kind of like, they might be grounded and established and they're posting, what they want to post. And you almost get distracted a little bit. Like, oh, maybe I should do this, or maybe I should do that, or that'll get better traction. But that won't help you and your business in the future and you won't enjoy what you do. So I found that staying authentic and actually building off of what I want to teach, like movement patterns or joint health, and kind of like being like, this is the audience that I want. These are the people that I attract. If I kind of stray, then I'll attract different people who might not vibe. And that, like, with Instagram's crazy algorithm and stuff like that, if people don't engage and whatever else, it kind of messes up your brand a little bit. So staying true to you, attracting the audience that you want by posting things that you're going to do with them in real life. So like with training, movement patterns, working through like joints, explaining exercises, stuff like that. So people are like, oh, like, I like that. I want to learn about that. Like, let me kind of go in there. So yeah.
No, that's so great, and I'll take an example from the real estate space. So I'm sure you've seen not even me, but like everyone hypes up, like, oh, look at me, multimillionaire, retired by age 21, never went to school, high school dropout, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, but is that like really authentic? Like, is that the message or the people you're trying to attract? Don't get me wrong. If you dropped out of high school and are a multimillionaire, get on a call with me. I'd love to hear about it. But if you're trying to build a business and grow a brand,
Yeah.
wouldn't it be more important to be authentic and, like you said, serve the clients you want to serve, attract the audience you want to attract, and put out content that actually makes sense with what you're doing?
Exactly. Exactly. And like it might be challenging at times. Like it might not be the most rewarding thing in the moment, but it's just you just have to be like, this is what I want, this is what I'm gonna do. It isn't glamorous like people like to do on Instagram. I saw someone post their perfect morning routine, and you see everyone posting their damn perfect morning routine and what they do, and you're just like, that's not real life all the time. Maybe like one day of the month, but like the other days, like you're waking up tired, you're late sometimes, like you're rushing through things. It's like that's what life is. And it's like you try to falsify that, then it's not gonna work for your brand. And yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love the authenticity message that you're sending. I feel that needs to be pounded into people's head more than like all the other garbage out there. So I really like that authenticity. Now I know I sent you some questions before, but this one's just off the cuff. You said starting out, you're like, oh, it was a little hard. What was like some of your biggest challenges, starting that brand when you first started out?
I think honestly just confidence. Like it's
Okay.
with the pandemic and everything, like before I was training at big gyms, I was interacting with people. It was very easy. I was kind of like known as a trainer. And then shifting into the pandemic, being isolated, not being surrounded by people all the time and talking to people, it was like, okay, you see my posts, you see who I am kind of like through a screen. And it's like, how do I get my character out? Like, how do I show you who I am as a person? Because as a trainer, it's very personal. You're almost like people's therapists in a way. You're there
Yeah.
with them for an hour, 2 to 3 times a week. Like, I hang out more with my clients than I do with my actual friends. So trying to build the confidence just to post, to like interact with people, to engage, to like, you know, what you want to do, just put it out there. And then like the people who will like you, the people who don't. And that's one thing that I had to get through is not everyone's going to like me. Not everyone's going to like my content and not what I do. Not everyone's kind of in that direction. And I have to respect that and be like, if this is what I want to do, then I need to just grow a pair, kind of move past that and just like, this is who I am. This is how I need to get myself out there. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, the message of authenticity, the message of confidence, I think those are two big factors. I don't care if you play in the fitness space, the real estate space, the crypto space, don't care. Those are great messages. So I love that there. I will move on to my second question here. And this one's great because from a real estate perspective, we get a lot of guys who are very analytical. Sorry, guys and gals who are analytical. Like they think a lot of numbers, right? But they're not always the most creative. So I've been watching your content. You've just been coming up with new, interesting ways to get concepts out there. How do you come up with new content ideas?
Honestly, in part, I want to say it's just my brain. Like I'm a little weird. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, all right.
Yeah, and I think like yeah, through the pandemic, I might have gotten a little bit boring, but it's like the more you do things, and I found the more I exercise, the more I just try and get outside and do things that make me uncomfortable. So a lot of the things that I drew inspiration from was I picked up reading a lot through the pandemic. So audiobooks, I became like a little bit of a book hoarder, and just conversing with new people. Like people now I find just want to talk to you. So like even just having conversations with strangers, and exploring. So like doing cold dips and just kind of being in the moment or like just seeing what's around me and being able to kind of take that in and make it into something that's like, in part, I think about the entertainment aspect of like, okay, if I'm flipping through reels or through something, what's something that's going to catch my eye and actually want to attract the person within like the first 2 seconds? Because you move so fast through Instagram. It's just like, what can I do to like give someone that dopamine hit that they actually want to stay for the entirety of the content? Because I know I'll just flip. So, and with exercises and stuff like that, a lot of it is through clients' experiences, like what has worked for them with movements, what hasn't worked, what are things that I've learned throughout the fitness industry and that I can make like a little more enjoyable and entertaining. Because like I mentioned, I'm a bit weird, so I like to put that out there and just like, I want to be a little bit different because I think I am a bit different.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's like, and I feel like that's so great because if you try and be like, that status quo, hit everyone right in the middle, everyone's like you said, you're just run of the mill. Like you're not special. I don't mean you need to make yourself like, completely unique, but everyone has that uniqueness about them. So if you're not going to lean into it, you're just going to end up being another one of those things that gets scrolled by or in the real world, just get overlooked. So I really like that part about being special there.
Yeah.
One thing I'll ask about that, you talked about, the dopamine hit and the entertainment. I'm like, oh gosh, you're getting, psychological on me. Not to get too deep into your process, but how would you balance the, like, the straight, like clickbait kind of stuff? Like, it doesn't really have to do with your video. It's all clickbait versus, actually providing content and value in the stuff you share.
So honestly, I try to like teeter it a little bit because I know some things get a bit more engagement than other things. So if I'm posting a lot on like, say for example, like movements and joint health, it's not hot. Not a lot of people are like, ooh, I want to look at this. I'm gonna, keep through this video. So like sometimes you have to post some like photos or things that are like either very humorous, might attract people that aren't kind of related to your content, but maybe not the most. Like for me, I found like weird dancing videos got people very engaged. And like once that happened, then I would follow up with like some movement videos and that would keep the engagement up. And then like I'll slide in another dancing video or something like that to kind of keep it going and keep that audience in there. So I show up on people's feeds. So it's almost like a weird little game that you're playing with Instagram that's like, okay, like I'll post this and then maybe like I'll post some of the stuff, like I'll sprinkle more of it in and to kind of bounce through.
Good stuff. But like from what I'm hearing is you're just one, you're actually getting out there, you're posting like a lot of content, and then two, you're just trying it out. It's not like, I downloaded the Instagram algorithm, read it cover to cover, and do exactly that. Like, you're testing the waters. How does it react with your audience?
Exactly. And I'm not the biggest tech person. Like I like Instagram, but like I don't love Instagram, but it is a fantastic marketing tool. So for me, it's also like being engaged with Instagram because you have to want to post. If it becomes like a job, then I find that your content becomes boring. You become like the other like people that you see because you don't have any inspiration. So it's like if you actually like what you're doing, then you can find love in the things that you want to post and actually share with people. Like a lot of the things are things that have benefited me. And I'm like, okay, well, more people should do this. Like people should at least try or have an idea of like what else they can do to better their lives in different aspects. And it's like, that is a lot more enjoyable than being like, here's a glute workout or like, here's a quad workout, because you scroll through the explore page, and I don't do this often, but when I do, it's like girls and their quads, girls, and it's all about the booty. Everything is about growing your booty. And that's the fitness industry right now. So yeah, trying to break out of that.
I like it. I like it. And you know what? I think that takes some real balls to come on and say, listen, as a female yourself, and just calling it out, listen, it's all about, that's all they, because like as a guy, like it's all the content that just gets pushed to your face, right? It's just like, oh my gosh, like, yes, we get it. Like, that's one body part girls can work out, but I'm sure there's other stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But,
and you trap, don't get me wrong. I've fallen into the trap. I'm very privy to that. I've fallen into the trap, and then you just kind of look at yourself and you're like, this isn't my business. These are not the clients I want to attract, and they're not the ones who are going to stick with me long term. The ones who are with me long term are the ones who like we have the same like aligned goal. So yeah.
Good stuff. Hey, I love that. Oh man, that's a good clip that's gonna have to come out of that, and just, calling out the industry. Yeah, I'm joking. One more question for you. One more question. What are some of your, because obviously we're in 2022, we're not doing this with carrier pigeons. What is one of your biggest technology tools that you use in your business, related to how you create content, or even just like how you operate your business off screen?
My phone. It's crazy because my phone. I bought a camera a few years ago. So like, okay, I'll use my camera to record. Like this will be good. I spent like $800, and then I found out that just trying to transfer the stuff from my camera to my like computer, I'm lazy. It was one too many steps for me. Whereas like your phone, you record it, the camera quality is like fantastic.
Yeah.
Into an app, like I use Splice, and like I'm able to screen like the whole screen recording, the being able to like edit your videos and then like toss them into reels and then use them for TikTok or whatever else. It's honestly like, it's crazy how useful the cell phone is. Like I never thought that my phone would be like my method of work, like solely like editing, contacting people, like talking to people. Like it's I really didn't think that we would jump to this in just 2 years.
Yeah, that's crazy. Now, would you say that, you had at Laurier, you didn't graduate with a computer science degree, right?
No.
No, but you're still able to put out this level of high value content.
Well, I found that like, and mind you, I think I sucked in the beginning. Like, I don't think like looking back into my content, I'm like, oh my God, the angles, the lighting, like, what were you thinking? And now I'm okay, if I shoot from this angle, and then like now I'm thinking more about how my video is gonna look, because it's like, okay, if I do a deadlift, maybe I'll shoot from the front and then I'll shoot from the back so that I can cut it halfway, edit it so it's like a nice transition. And I'm thinking about, and it's about that engagement to the person. So it's not only like I'm gonna film my lift and post, it's like, how do I make this lift look nice that people are actually like, oh, like this is cool? Because like you do get a little excited by transitions and what people do and like stuff like that. Like that also pulls people in. And I don't think I thought of that honestly until recently. And I was like, okay, I need to make my content a little bit better just to like bump up my engagement with Reels and my reach and just like get out there and even engage one more person than I normally would.
100%. And that last thing you said there, just one more person. Like everyone thinks, whether you're in the real estate space, fitness space, business space, they're like, okay, I want to hit my page and I want my follower count to grow to like 1 million, like really quick. And I'm like, if that's your goal, like, I don't think you're doing it right, because you're not going to get 1 million organic followers or people who are like, down for your journey. So that's slow. Like every day, if I can just, get one more piece, like one more person engaged, another follower, but not like exponentially grow it so like you outpace your system. So I think that's a really good perspective you have there.
Yeah, yeah. And with the people you attract, you also get a lot of odd people too. So that's something you have to be very mindful of.
I bet you do too. Like I've had some weird DMs, like I'll say that, but like you, especially female fitness space, like you putting yourself out there.
Yeah, I think females in general, because like I've had some people that don't want to work out, they just like want to hang out and train. So like having to weed out those people, and it can also be a little frustrating because you get excited. People are like, oh, like I would like to train, I would like to do this, but they have ulterior motives. So it's like, okay, you have to understand that you can't really weed out those people. They'll follow you, you can block them, you can do whatever, but it's like not getting down on yourself like, oh, this actually isn't a client. Like,
yeah. Gotcha. Well, that's good. Well, I'm really happy with the way your business has gone, and I'm not gonna lie, I've taken some stuff that you've done, like especially like branding wise and the way like how you put out content. Like you actually mentioned it, like the front of the video and the back of the video and cut it. Yeah. I was like, dude, I'm gonna try that. So yeah, I did that, and like just different ways to engage. And I feel you can go to school and learn all this, or you can network, connect with other people doing it. And I feel like that's just better there. But did you have, I know I'm a real estate guy. I try to make it seem like I'm a fitness guy. But did you have any real estate questions for me?
Yeah. So my one question is, obviously the market has changed so much since pre-pandemic to now, like pandemic and coming out of the pandemic. How have you had to adjust and kind of work on your strategy and your marketing and developing, your clientele throughout this whole time?
Yeah, 100%. So right now where my bid, so I'm a realtor, I'm also an investor as well. So in terms of my investing business, I am so anxious. Like I want to buy so bad. Don't tell any sellers this, but I want to buy so bad because there's a dip in the market. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to buy a good, an overvalued property in the dip, but as property prices come down, if you're still able to get properties undervalued, not only do you get it like a little bit undervalued on the top, but now that comes all the way down here. So the price point you're entering is lower and you can get a little bit more value. I hold real estate for the long term. So in the long term, if you got it down here, when we look, 5, 6, 7, 10 years, you'll be like, oh, Isaiah, that was a good buy. So I'm, really still encouraged about buying. In terms of my client business, it's a lot of education, explaining to people, like understanding the mortgage rates, whether we're doing fixed, whether we're doing variable, and kind of helping them make a game plan. Is this an investment? Is this a first time home? Is this a buy and hold property? The more education and the more I feel my knowledge is more useful now, as there's a little bit of uncertainty in the market. Where before, like in the pandemic, you could just buy a property, hold it, in 5 months, you already made 100 grand. Everyone's like, oh, I'm the master of real estate. I'm like, no, you're not. The market's just helping you out. So I think now a little bit of my education is helping, clients, other investors, make better decisions. So I love it. Like, it is what it is. Like, real estate rolls like that. So I'm just rolling with the punches.
That's valid. Okay. So I have 2 questions for you. My first one is in terms of the market. How do you feel? Because like you said, right now there's a little dip in the market. How do you foresee the market acting based on current situations?
Yeah, so it's come down like in the last month. I think the last stat I read, in at least Oshawa, like that's one of my main markets, like 14.6% in the last month. It's come down. I do think it's going to come down even a little bit more. There's going to be, or I predict there's going to be an interest hike on June 1st. So there'll be another interest hike. So now the interest hike, it doesn't affect. People think like they get all scared, but it doesn't really affect that much. Like, yeah, it's going to raise your payment by, a couple $100. But if we're talking a property worth, hundreds of thousands of dollars, $100, $200 really shouldn't dissuade your decision. Don't get me wrong. Let's do our research and let's sit down and have a good conversation. But I
Yeah.
don't think people should be running for the hills like, oh, Canadian real estate is falling apart. I'm like, let's just
Yeah.
settle down a little bit. So
Yeah.
it will come down a little bit, but I'm thinking by, the time we go back to school, maybe in October, we'll see those prices come back to rise. Maybe not pandemic levels, but it'll come back to rise. That's my opinion. I've done a little bit of research there. We can debate it. People can throw some hate in the comments, but I love to debate it.
Gladly. It'll be nice to see what people think. Because like you said, there's a lot of people stressing out, being like, oh no, like the interest is going to come up, everything's going to crash, what's going to happen? But I'm like, so far it's been okay, even with like the interest hike before, like previously. So yeah, it's good to hear that.
I'll give you two things just on why I'm confident in the Canadian real estate market. One, we don't underwrite the way America did because everyone's like, oh, it's going to be like the States. If you
Yeah.
do some research on how they were giving out loans in the States, Canada has never done that, nor will we ever do that. So we're in a much better position. And then two, we've seen like next to no immigration over the past 2 years. So with that coming, where are you putting these people? Like we only have so much land. I have to put these people in homes. And either I got to crush them into the homes that are already there. So that means every home is going to have multiple units, or I got to build some homes. They're not helping us build homes fast. So the homes out there still need to appreciate in value. I'm still bullish on the market. Again, it goes in waves. So it's going to come down a little bit, but I'm not, petrified right now.
Okay, that's good. That's good to hear. It's a little relieving to hear. So I'm very happy.
Good stuff.
Second question. I actually have two more.
Yeah, okay.
Is, so with the pandemic now, how do you attract your clients? So how are you finding your client base? What do you do in terms of your marketing to kind of pull people in to work with you?
100%. So what I do is I go to their house, I kick open their door, I say, no, joking. I think, like you say, you got to be creative. Like I looked at some of the traditional strategies, pay per click, door knocking. I'm like, man, everybody and their mom's doing that. Like, what can I do that's a little bit, more interesting? So I won't share all my secret sauce here, but I will share this. I've got a really cool referral program that I've worked on. And it's almost like engaging because I want it to be like a game. So it's like, it's a 3-tier structure. It's silver, gold, platinum. So once you're in the referral program, you can either achieve silver status, which is $100. You can achieve gold status, which is $500, or you can achieve platinum status, which is anywhere between $1,000 and $3,000. It doesn't cost you any money to get in. It keeps people interested, and it keeps like, hey, if you like real estate and like you don't have money to get in, hey, why don't you join my referral program? We'll talk. You can go out there, start touching real estate, make yourself a little bit of money. I get some different leads that way, and I also think those leads that I get are warmer. I'm not a big believer in paying for cold leads, so doing some more creative stuff. I even had a golf course reach out to me. And, hey, if you wanted to be on all the marketing, I'm like, you know what? That is it. Because golfers, they always be writing their scores down. They be talking. All the business happens on the golf course, right? So if you can put somehow your face, your name right there, that makes sense. So creative. You got to be creative. I'm always doing something new. If everyone's doing A, I got to look for what B, C, and D are doing. And that's what I'll give that a try.
I agree, especially throughout this pandemic and time, everyone's kind of we're running the same treadmill almost, trying to figure out the market. So if you're constantly looking forward, then you'll be ahead of the game, which means you'll kind of grab new clients, which is good. Okay, last question, because you mentioned how your education attracts a lot of people.
Sure.
To constantly stay educated, do you take courses, schooling? Like, how do you self-educate?
100%. So I'm in a mentorship program right now, and it's been phenomenal. I'm surrounding myself with a ton of people who are at the top of the game. Like when I started in real estate, I was one of the only people in like my friend group who was doing it. So I was at the top. I recently went to a conference and sat in a room with some of these other people, and I felt so dumb. Like I was like, oh my gosh, these are like professionals. And like some of them were like, oh, Isaiah, you're doing well. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. So putting yourself in rooms where you're like in your head, you're the lowest, or like you have so much more to learn, I think that's huge. And then like I really stopped listening to music. I still listen to music, but I don't listen to it for fun. Like there's so much content that can be grabbed like audio wise. Like I'm a big podcast guy, big audiobook guy. Yeah, unless I'm like doing a workout and like I gotta really, I can't focus,
Yeah.
I'm gonna listen to a podcast. And I feel like once I start moving and then I get that, I've been able to really retain a lot about that. So yeah, good groups and good content. Like just trying to put good content in front of you.
Okay, good to know. I feel you
Yeah.
on the music front. Same thing. I used to be a very big avid music listener, and
Yeah.
then now it's just audiobooks and podcasts. That's it.
You're
And
leveling up. You're leveling up, girl.
it's
You're leveling up.
what it is, but it's like it's so nice listening and like being a part of something and like you're like don't get me wrong, I'll like some days I'm like, man, I can't focus on what this person's saying. Like I need music, but other
Mhm.
like I would much rather just have something going on in my head where I can learn while I'm doing something else, honestly. So
Exactly. Oh, you get it. You get it. That's awesome. That's awesome. Wow, this is great. Like I knew it was going to be a good conversation, but like that's it's really awesome to see, how industries can or like ideas and concepts can cross industries, like, fitness to real estate and all the stuff still applies. So I really appreciate you coming on.
no worries. I'm thank you for inviting me. This was really fun.
Awesome. That's good. Now, Iris, where can people find out more about you if they want to follow you? If they're interested in fitness or what you're doing with the business, where can they get a hold of you?
So I hate to say it, but Instagram is
Mhm.
literally reach out through Instagram. I'm launching a website in July, and that'll have kind of, I know, information about programs and blogs and kind of stuff like that. So I really want to put that out there. But Instagram has become like the business hub. So any training questions, any questions about even your programs, assessing movement, stuff like that, just shoot me a DM. And yeah.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. You guys heard that. So all you guys who sit on your butts all day, go give Iris a message. She'll get you right.
Exactly. I'll make you move well and actually feel good and not have those rounded shoulders and tilted hip forwards.
There you go. I like it so much. Quick sign off for me. It's Isaiah Henry here, First Position Real Estate. We had Iris on today. Just killed it. Really sharing her concepts, what she's doing, building a brand, building a business from a fitness industry. We sprinkled a little bit of real estate just for all our fans out there. But thank you so much, Iris. If anyone wants to get a hold of her, her Instagram will be down below. But until next time, Iris, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Have a good one.